Please be aware that the content in this podcast may be unsettling for some listeners. If this story brings anything up for you, please talk to someone you trust. You can also free call or text 1737 to connect with a trained counsellor day or night.
Kia ora, welcome to Hear Me, See Me, a chance to hear young New Zealanders share their experiences, speak their minds, and maybe even change yours. I'd like to introduce you to Chief, a young man who shares the challenges of his childhood and how starting his own family has given him a fresh focus for his future.
My earliest memory is from the age when I was 5 years old with my mum. Like making stuff with her, doing painting and baking and cooking. My dad came from the Cook Islands. I don't know much about my culture because my dad hasn't been there for me to tell me about it. Still need to learn about it. I still want to go over to Rarotonga and see if I can bump into my dad's mum, because I know she lives there, so I can tell my son about our culture. My mum's always told my mates, who I am. No one has pronounced me as Pākehā because they always see me as that Cook Island person without their skin colour. Not much I can say about my dad. I've always had my mum there, but from when I was 5, she started having health issues. She was in hospital long periods of time. Sometimes it could be 1 month, sometimes it could be 3 months, or to 5 months. I had to take care of myself when I was younger, so therefore it made me kind of be more independent. I'd say that's when everything went a bit different for me from when I was 5 years old. I didn't have any parents or anything getting told what to do or what time to come home to and stuff. So therefore it made me lead my own way and my own choices, and it made me lead to other places. I wouldn't say I made good choices when I was a kid. Four years old, I was walking around the streets even when it became night time. I'd still be around, walking around the grove or walking down to the park and hanging out with the kids at night time. It was common for all of us to be out at this time. The older kids would just show us bad influence, I'd say, so therefore when we're watching them, we'd learn it. The community place was for us kids to go to after school hours so we can have something to do and not go out and be mischief or anything. First thing that will happen when we turn up every day is that they'll put a feed on for us, or even a little snack. It would be like fruit, like sandwiches, fried bread. Sometimes it might be a cooked meal if we're lucky. I'd say a good 30 of us every day. The people that ran it, they weren't qualified people or anything whatsoever, just people that cared for us in our community. It would be open from 3 o'clock, say, to 6 o'clock at night, 6:30 at the latest. It helped me in a way to stay away from trouble within those few hours of time. When the community place would finish, say around 6:30, 6 o'clock, as soon as the street lights hit on, we'll have to start making our way out, and no parents or anything came and got us. We'll just make our way home ourselves. I'd made some good friends and some good memories and everything there, I'd say. I don't regret anything. Some of the people are my mates from the state dot. Their community place isn't there no more. The hall and everything's still there, just no people there to help us. My dream would be to open that community place back up if money wasn't a problem. I'd like to change my community back to how it was. When I was younger, I needed support, so therefore I want to provide the most I can for them. I want to at least help my neighbourhood sharpen up a bit. I was out on the streets at the age of 4 or 5, walking at night. I started working primary school. Not many kids work primary school. So I got kicked out of primary, and then I guess I was hanging out with teenage people, And then I got to intermediate. I started doing a lot worse stuff, so I was going downhill. I used to bring drugs to school and then started selling at the age of 11. And then I was allowed to sign up for college, and I was a kid that didn't care or say stuff in front of teachers, So, and then one of the teachers would hear it that I was selling. Then I think this is where everything went downhill. I think school was reporting to sis, and then what made it worse, I stopped going to school. So then sis came to my doorstep, and the police were there. So I pretty much got arrested and took to a sis home for naughty kids, and it's just like youth justice. You got to be good to get out. Yeah, I could be there for months because I always ran away. The police will find me on the street, or maybe the friends, and then I'll go back to another boys' home or in the cells. You know, the longest I've been in the cells for is 3 days, because sometimes the boys' home's too full as well. You know, sometimes because all of us teenage boys are out in the weekend. You know, that's the time everything happens. Say a group of teenage boys that got snapped, and there's 10 of them. They could all go in that boys' home just for the weekend, you know. And then I have to wait in the cell till that's cleared out, because there's only a certain amount of people allowed in the boys' home as well. And there's only like 2 boys' home in this whole Wellington district. And I've been to both of those. Yeah. Parents do get a chance to have an FGC with their kid before they go on SIS family group conference. I've started an FGC since I was the age of like 12, I'd say, 12, 13. So I remember the first one was to do with the drugs. And I was, of course, still the same kid and told him, I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to take any advice or anything. My lawyer started helping me, you know, when I turned 16. Made me feel like I had some power, I'd say that. Because we're in the FGC, just me and my lawyer, you know. He'll be my family member type thing. Like, with sis, and then, like, they all chin 1, 2, 3, like, number talk, you know. And that's what got me, like, annoyed, you know. They say that in front of me, and they know I don't understand it. But so I went to my lawyer and I said, what does that mean, you know? And he goes, it means something, you know. And he's like, I'll explain it to you all after, you know, because I keep asking, you know, like, I don't understand this, bro. It's getting me, like, frustrated, you know. He's like, I'll explain it to you after. I was like, no, I need to know now, because if you tell me after, then it might be something I haven't agreed on, you know. And then they've said the section 1, 2, 3 talk, you know. In a way, they shut me down, talk with their section, blah, blah, you know. So they'll make me shut up because I don't know what they're on about. I think my lawyer thought I understood, You know, I asked him after, what they saying? He's like, oh, weren't you listening or what? Fuck. So now we've just agreed with something we totally didn't know. He's like, wow. So he's like, so you don't know your rules and stuff? I said, no, I don't know nothing. I signed this piece of paper though when I was 16 with them, that if I was in trouble or anything like that, it'll be reported to them, right? But I could do my own thing, like live elsewhere, like, you know, live somewhere else, but there's still rules in there. They agreed with me, at least me allowed to stay wherever I wanted to when I was 16, but I still was not allowed out of the system. So there's a lot of arguing back and forth, really. So I had to figure out how to come back to that situation and work it better. Then I figured out it was one of my attitude and all that stuff too. So I keep trying, I keep trying. And then I guess I started behaving better with SIS. So, you know, I started communication with them. Started talking to my social worker a bit better instead of just giving my attitude. I started listening and stuff, so we're another FGC, I'd say, you know, and I was more civil with them and stuff, so I came in and I was mature enough to at least say hi to them and without being mad, you know. So yeah, we got to that one and it was about where I should stay, because they knew I will never stay in that same spot with SIS, because they know I run away. So then they finally came to a FGC where I could at least have some of my say, they said, in a way, you know, like, tell me what you want, because you're never going to listen, so tell me what you want. And I thought, oh, you finally want to listen to me, you know, after like 8 years of being in the system, 7 years, you know, they finally at least want to listen to what I have to say. They finally had an FGC with me signing these papers that I was allowed out, and I was only like 17. My girlfriend is how I ended up having a proper house to stay at as well. So yeah, how would I explain that? Short story. I started dating her and then we started like each other. Ended up living at her mum's because they asked where you live, and I'd say I pretty much have nowhere to stay in. So then yeah, straight away pretty much her mum just told me to jump in the house, you know, felt sorry for me, and I was grateful for that. And that's what makes sure I stayed out of trouble, you know, make sure I stay at hers, you know. Yeah, it just started from there, and then I was like, yeah, she's putting effort in for me, and then, you know, it made me realise that I should start putting effort towards her, even though I've never put any effort towards anyone else. And I think that's where it made me realise how it's hard to explain, but I'd say it made me change living with her in a way, because she showed me what love was, and she showed me she cared for me, even her mum did. And I've never met someone like that, you know, they would just chuck me straight on and didn't even know me, and I told her Like, I'm not the nicest person, you know, and stuff. Like, you know, I'm just trying to tell you who I was before I jumped in their house, you know, and the reason why I don't have a house. They still chucked me and let me stay, so made me be grateful for that. And yeah, I just had no educational for ages. I'd say year 11, so 2 years of just doing whatever I want still. 2 years of no school, getting out of college. Got to year 11, and then I heard of this lyrics course, and it's a sports course, and then I was like, oh, I like sports, and that's the only thing I'll probably attend, to be honest, is a sports course. So I signed up for that. Lyrics is a sports academy course for naughty kids or kids that can't fit into school educational system. And then that course is to help guide you through schoolwork educational wise. They make you start from the beginning though. So say if you were year 11 and then you got there, they'll give you year 9 work from the start just to see where you are. If you smashed out a year 9 book, they'll probably put you up or still leave you down type of thing. There was at least 20 of us turning up every day. We start around 9:30 in the morning. As soon as you walk into those doors, we'll play rugby mostly, tackle, touch, or else we'd go out for running and stuff like that. Physical sports, you know, therefore we can hit each other without having a physical fist fight. We all come from different backgrounds, different hoods and type of thing, you know. It was positive, that's for sure, yeah. No one left their field wanting to fight each other, you know. Yeah, my dyslexia doesn't help with my educational wise. I'd say that was a bit of a struggle, but I got through it somehow. So I reckon lyrics understood the schoolwork too and the support as well. The schoolwork was a lot easier, and if you struggle or anything, all it takes is a hand up and they'll be right there, you know. Whereas in another class, and school-wise, if you put your hand up, the teacher probably won't even come to you because there's so many other students they're focusing about, and they usually focus about the smart kids, because the smart ones are the ones that are taking it further in education-wise. So I did the lyrics course for a year solid, and I actually passed and was allowed back to college. So that made me happy, you know. So that made me go, yeah, I can go back to school. So that's what made me start thinking of changing too. So then I went, oh yep, I need to start going to school now. I'm allowed back. And I was year 11. So then, yep, I was accepted. I had an interview at college, and they're like, oh wow, you've changed heaps, really, you know. Apparently, that's what Miss Lucas said. So they skipped me straight away. So I was sweet. And I think that's what made me change my attitude and everything too. Is that people were saying I was doing good. So, you know, so when I heard I was doing good, it made me smile and be like, yeah, you know. So it made me stay in class and stuff, you know. Ever since I had a baby, that's what made me change my life. Because I knew I had a kid, and I knew I couldn't keep carrying on what I was wanting to do. I just had to change, you know. It was a have to, because your kid's there, you know. It was just, I had to. It was slowly. I want to say I just changed like that, eh. You know, like, I got told that, you know, she was pregnant. So I was like, oh, I'm having a baby, a bit excited. But, you know, you don't see that baby there, you know what I mean? Their stomach's still flat and stuff. So I was still doing me type of thing, but I was still trying to slowly change in a way. I was 16 when she was pregnant, and she was a bit younger than me, so it was harder for her to get in income or anything. So all I thought was just to get on my ass and get a job straight away. So I knew I couldn't just go and sign up for a job or make me a CV. So I was told to go through recruitment. I actually got a job straight away. I want to be a painter because it's an ongoing job, and because it will help me and my family to survive. I used to do a lot of art in school. I used to do graffiti as well. That helps with how to use your paints and stuff. So there's different ways of knowing how to paint. There's people that say they know how to paint, and then they'll paint a picture or something, or like paint a wall, and then that wall will be drippy. Whereas me, I'd say I have more experience with using spray cans or paint wise, because yes, I've learnt technique with my painting skills because of the stuff I've done in my books and on the streets. I get a bit OCD if I've seen a wall that is painted so uneven that you can see different brushes through different places, you know. Whereas I'm OCD, I'd rather fix that up. I want to say I'm a perfectionist, I'd just say I think I can do better. Things are good in my life right now. There are some struggles I have still from this day, but I am still moving forward from it and fighting through it. I just wanting to have a good future, so that's why I get up every day on my feet and keep going, no matter what happens. I have a little family of mine too to support now and to worry about, not just myself. It changes my life in a way, but it's changed it in a good way, 100% a good way. I want to know where I'd be, to be honest.
Listening to Chief's story, I was really impressed actually by his attitude towards life, especially from what he's experienced from such a young age. I think it's really amazing that he's had his own realization of really wanting to turn his life around. He's found good motivation for himself to do that with his family. I really like his attitude towards his family, and for how young he is, it's really cool to see how onto it he is. But I can imagine how hard it would have been. Like, his attitude towards it is quite amazing for what he's been through. He's been very independent and had to do everything for himself and create his own routine in life. He's had no real guidelines, and so his whole life has been based off exploration and experiments, and that's how he's found his way through life. Being a 19-year-old with a family and a child, I feel like it can be quite challenging with the way that the world looks in on you. But I think that the way that Chief's prepared for it is very different with his circumstances. He hasn't had that really strong connection to a family, and so creating himself one has, I think, been a really good and amazing thing for him, and you can tell that he's really passionate towards his family. I think a lot of people would see a 19-year-old and be like, that 19-year-old doesn't know what they're doing, but I think he has a lot of ways in his life and a lot of examples that he doesn't want to follow, and so he knows that he's definitely not going to do that, and I think that's something really special for him to have in creating his own family. Yeah, so I think definitely he's got a really strong, passionate motivation there for him. If Chief's story has brought anything up for you, please talk to someone you trust. You can also free call or text 1737 to connect with a trained counsellor, day or night. Hear Me See Me is a safe place for young New Zealanders to share their stories. Please encourage others to listen to them. If you have a story you'd like to share, please email kiora@hearmeseeme.nz or search Hear Me See Me NZ on Facebook or Instagram and send us a direct message. To find ways you can support young people and to see what others are doing, go to hearmeseeme.nz. Kia kaha, ka kite anō.